Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. Guys, we are so close to having an insane upgrade pack grind right now in FC26, but EA refuse to release something different when it comes to the upgrade packs. We had the same one released yesterday for the 4th week in a row. And man, can you imagine if we had a place to rinse our gold commons with all these cards and packs? We're going to talk about that and give EA some feedback that they definitely need to hear in this video today. Also, speaking of feedback, our feedback has brought another patch. We have a new patch incoming to gameplay. It was talked about yesterday by EA, which means the patch could be dropped as early as today on Tuesday. It's not reverting the game back to launch, which is what I think a lot of people want right now, but it is adding some changes to attacking and defensive AI that sound good. And it's also adding a new evolution tracking mechanism where you wouldn't have to use Footbin to track your evos to check for the best chain. You'd be able to do it inside of the game. So that's really interesting. We'll have to see how that pans out with this new update. And also, we have some overpowered looking SBCs, and I think I might know which one's coming today based on the way the market is moving. Let's talk about it, guys. If you're excited for the video, drop a thumbs up on it, hype the video if you can, and subscribe if you're new. Now, yesterday's Monday content began a new gameplay grind because we have the Gauntlet that is out, and EA actually dropped a massive W with the objectives specifically and how we get this Gauntlet done. Of course, last time we had the Gauntlet, it was play and win inside of kind of the same objective to get the rewards, and it was complete 8 of 10, right? That's how you got the Benzema reward, and there was all those 83 by 10s. Well, this time, it's not all in the same objective. It is split up. This is so much better to have the play and the score in certain games, matches, and that objective part split up from the wins here because you get extra rewards. The bonus objective here for the Gauntlet 4 is winning 1, 2, winning 6 games, and getting the perfect round. You get some more packs, and you get another 83 by 10. It's just way easier to have these two separated. And also, if you're somebody who doesn't care for this and you don't want to grind and sweat the Gauntlet, and you just want to play games and get this done, maybe even rubber band, all you have to do is focus on this one part. You have to score in 9 and play 12, and you're good to go. Now, I don't think really the way that this is split up, that rubber banding is something that we all would even need to do unless you just really don't want to play, because you have to score in a certain number of games, right? But honestly, having it split up this way makes me, and I think a lot of other people, motivated to just play it normally, to score the goals. And because it's like, well, I might as well try to win 6 now since there's no pressure. The pressure's off. Hopefully the sweat is a little bit off. You got 14 entries in this mode, so that means you've got 42 total games because it's 3 games per gauntlet, 14 different attempts, so 42 games to win 6 and to score in 9. That should be doable for most. Of course, playing 42 games of gauntlet would be a lot, but I love the way this is split out. Like, I love this between the bonus here with the wins and the actual objective here to get Simeone for the group reward, which is not the craziest card. He does have good play styles, but he's really lacking a 4-star, at least weak foot or skills, and he is pretty fast, so that's nice. But once again, it's a live card, so there's upgrades on the line for the Simeone. And inside of here, for some of the other rewards that we get, Long Ball Pass Plus, which again, I love being able to preview these evos, even though I don't have them unlocked yet, using R3. I mean, Long Ball Pass Plus could go on a card like the Endo here. Not sure who I'm going to put that on, but I know exactly who's going to be getting the Defender Plus Plus when it comes time to unlock this, and that's going to be Dean Huyson, who's still starting in my team. He doesn't have Defender Plus even right now, so giving him the Plus Plus would be great for that and for his card for future evolutions. Also got an 85 to 87, 10,000 coins, a little bit of a stimmy from EA there, an 83 by 10, and an 85 to 89. You could say, Nate, the rewards aren't as good as last time around. And I wouldn't disagree because Benzema was crazy and 4 83 by 10s were in there. But again, most of us got 2 or 3. So again, this time, if you're able to win 6, you're getting 2 83 by 10s and some decent evos. Gauntlet still feels very worth to play, in my opinion. I think that is going to be the mode to prioritize this week. Some people maybe even play this over Rivals for some of the evos and some of the packs that you get. Maybe prioritize this over that. Not to mention, we still have a new tournament coming today, guys, and that is the UEFA Primetime Tournament. that is going to be dropping, which you, of course, can qualify for after you finish the Primetime League. I haven't even got there yet. I'm so behind with the gameplay grind. There's so much to play this week. But if you have completed the objective for the league today, of course, that's going to unlock the Primetime tournament. So we'll be watching out for more rewards there, and maybe there will be some of those Champions League cards, the primetime cards in that objective today as well. One last thing to mention about the Gauntlet is goalkeepers, Chevalier, I think it was Mamadashvili and Neuer. A lot of those low-budget, cheap keepers that people are just buying and adding to their Gauntlet squads are going up in value. I would imagine that they should at least drive up a little bit more in price in the next couple of days, so I wouldn't be super worried about selling those right now. Also, I just noticed when I loaded this page, EA updated the max prices for these the old versions of these cards. Isak was like max price of 400,000 or 500,000 before this, and he's flying now, 850. And Donnarumma had a max price of 800K, and now he's 1.2 mil. I don't know what's going on, man, but that's crazy. Let's go through the rest of yesterday's content on Monday. Let's go to the SBCs, right? We had the Pope SBC, and this one was expected. It was leaked ahead of time. By the way, this is kind of a dope card design. The Moments design this year, similar to previous years, but the colors, they look pretty cool. And this Nick Pope card, of course, is because he had an assist against Benfica, and that's the reason he's getting this. It's kind of like the version of Van de Ven and Osimhen that we had in packs. This is like the SBC version of that. I don't know why they didn't use the same card design, but they are. And this is decently valued. It's an 83 and an 85 rated squad with a team of the week, coming in at 46,000 coins. You know, maybe this is a keeper that you do for Gauntlet so that you don't have to go buy, you know, Pickford's base gold card or any other goalkeepers when Gauntlet comes around. It's nice to have a goalkeeper SBC like this just to put in the club. And he does have good play styles. He's got the long throw plus, which, you know, that's personal preference, whether you like it or not. I think it's pretty good. You got footwork base, cross claimer, and far reach. Footwork's the most important for low drivens, and he has got it. So that's a decent one there. Of course, goalkeepers, as we were warning ahead of time when we first saw that this SBC was coming out, have dropped off a good bit. Tim Howard from 55 to 60,000 coins. Now he's down to 46K. Pickford's special card as well, the Cornerstones, has dropped a good bit. I even saw Van der Sar was down on the market because of a 50,000 coin SBC for Pope, which is crazy. Yeah, 340. I saw him at 320. He still is. 325,000 coins for Van der Sar, and he was like 370, 380 earlier in the day yesterday. So that is pretty wild. But the frustration for me and a lot of you guys as well comes in with the upgrade pack grind. Yesterday we had the 79 plus times 2 refreshed once again. I believe, if I'm not wrong, this is the 4th week in a row that this 79 by 2 has been refreshed. It's the exact same requirements. 6 rare golds. That's it. No place to put our commons. Also, 4 weeks in a row, it just seems like very copy pasta from EA. Same requirements, save everything. Like, usually they change these up a little bit, but it's just like we're tired of this one, not because the pack is bad, but because the requirements don't fit what we have a lot of in this game. And I think the whole point of these unlimited repeatable SBCs is to take what we have a lot of in our club, which is gold commons, that we can not farm right now, but get a lot of very easily and turn them in for a chance at something better and craft a little bit. Unless EA doesn't want there to be a good upgrade pack grind on this game, I mean, why would they not release an SBC that allows us to put some common golds into it? All we have is this one that rinses the rare golds out of our club. This was really frustrating for me yesterday and for a lot of you guys because it's the 4th week in a row and because we see the potential with a player pick SBC or even this upgrade pack with different requirements because of the league SBCs, the daily common gold upgrades, the daily bronze silver that give you all those cards to level up and to get gold cards. Man, this could be super, super sick, right? We were talking about this. The League SBC grind gives you a bunch of commons. Where do you put those? Well, right now you're putting them into the regular gold upgrade pack, which is just, I mean, honestly, at this point, you kind of need to do them if you want to get the menu grind going, because there is almost an unlimited grind at the moment. If you do bronze spec method, run the bronzes and silvers through the upgrades, then you get to the golds, but it would just be one step and a big step sweeter if we had a player pick out right now, or a better requirement 79 plus times 2. So it's just kind of like, I mean, EA, this is 4 weeks in a row we've had this. The first 2 weeks were like, okay. And then last week I said, we need something else. We need something different. We have common goals. This week I said the exact same thing yesterday in the video. And what happens? We still have the exact same upgrade pack SBC. So hopefully they listen and give us a player pick next week, because I went back in the archives to see when did they release the first player pick SBC in FC25, and it actually would be the next Monday, because last year during the Track Stars promo is when we had the 77 plus player pick for the first time. But here's my thing. Who says it has to be a 77 plus pick to start off? Start us off with a 75 plus pick that you would have dropped like a couple of weeks ago. Even if that was like 10 times per day, limited repeatable to start things off. Like, as long as we have another unlimited repeatable one to go with that, that would be the dream. Now, of course, once we get into like Black Friday, if we have Thunderstruck again this year, which I think we are, because those cards and that name of a promo was in the code, we're going to have player picks then. It's only a matter of time before we actually get the player picks, but man, we just see the potential. And what a better time to grind with all these players that are in packs right now, that are live, that upgrade, that are going to be fun for Evos too. Speaking of Evos and fun live cards, we got to talk about one place where EA upgraded a card yesterday incorrectly and then had to fix it. And it's in Cavani. Got an upgrade one day after the game was played. So GG's to EA for the speed of that one there. But they only gave him a +1. Originally, he went from 84 to 85, which, of course, now in game, EA said that showdowns are going to get +2s. And at first, I thought it was going to stay that way, because this Cavani was released before EA said that those showdowns were going to get +2 overall upgrades, or a +1 and a roll ++ in the event of a draw. But EA upgraded him +2 up to 86. So for those of you guys who have Cavani in Evos, he's probably got some stats that went up here or there. This is a screenshot, I believe, of the card upgraded after the +1. So I think some people now are seeing 88 shooting and 62 defending on Cavani. Like we talked about yesterday, since you have stat caps on the evolutions, if you Evo a live card, those stats are going to be capped. But like we talked about in that Evo, the shot upgrades inside of the shooting stat were individual ones. It wasn't the face stat. So that's why the shooting stat shows up 1 or 2 ratings. And then the defense was unaffected. So that's why it went up. So that's the news with Cavani yesterday. And I think that's relevant news, actually, as we look at these cards, because we're going to be talking a lot about Evos, and these players are going to fit in Evos in the next couple of weeks before some of them get upgrades, and that's something good to remember. You can evolve these cards, and you can maximize upgrades on some of them, but you just have to be careful with some of those stat limits and stat maximums and stuff like that, and requirements. And then, of course, you hope for the upgrades, but it's just good to see this now and to talk about it before that becomes a lot more popular in the next couple of weeks. Now, speaking of EA tweets, this is the real big piece of information. We've got a new patch coming to FC26 soon. Allegedly, this would be today on Tuesday, because that's most often when EA tweet. The patch comes out the next day. And the easy way to describe what is coming in this patch is through this tweet right here. One of these Twitter guys posting some information, kind of summarizing the huge Trello board. I'm going to look at the Trello board in a second, which is where EA posts all the details of what is coming in the patch. But they are nerfing defending AI marking around the 18-yard box for interceptions on passes. They're nerfing some of the acrobatic shots. They're improving AI runs, and they actually listed 2 specific examples of strikers not continuing a run and wingers not running into space. So that sounds very good. They said that right there as well. Improved goalkeeper logic. And they also nerfed the short corners by increasing some of the I think it was the AI responsiveness and smartness, whatever you want to call it, around the corners and short corners for sure. So that is nice. It's all inside of this Trello board link here, which is on the EA FC Direct tweet, if you want to click on that and see right there what's going on. There's a lot of small things in here, actually, like some player switching inputs. I'm happy to see that being addressed. Some directed runs not following the requested input correctly. Improved referee logic for calling fouls when physical contact happened from behind. I scored a crazy goal in Foot Champs just a couple hours ago of my Nico Williams slide tackling behind a defender, taking the ball, definitely fouling the player, but then I went and scored off of that. I was like, yeah, it was a pretty cheese goal. That should have been a foul, but it wasn't called. Now, as of this update right here, we have something coming with evolutions that I think sounds very interesting. It says here that EA is going to add the ability to view available evolutions for a selected player item. After selecting the actions menu on a player item you're interested in upgrading, you can view a filtered evolution menu showing the specific evos your item is eligible for. This change will be activated through a server release shortly after the title update. So it's not going to come out right away when the title update drops. But for this, let's just go on a random card here. Let's go to my GOAT, Ollie Burke, my Silver Beast. So this is what they mean by the action menu, I believe. At first, I thought it was like clicking the right stick in, but I was like, well, there's no action here. This is just showing you what the card has for stats and stuff like that. If you press square on PlayStation or X on Xbox, this is what I think the player action menu is. And you'll notice, see up here, there's one of the toggles that is got nothing in it. It's got the circle, like it's a placeholder basically is what it feels like now. Knowing this information, seems like maybe in this empty spot, this new view available evolutions will show here, and it'll basically do what we do on Footbin is we check to see what evos a certain card can fit, and we see what kind of stat boost it gives them. So that's kind of cool. I'm really curious to see screenshots, how in depth this is. Does it take you to the evolutions tab, or can you do this from right here in your squad? Like click on this and do view available evos, and then it shows you like the chains and it shows you the stats and like what the card gets as an upgrade. Like this has a lot of potential to be really cool, to be a nice quick way to check when a content drops on any given day. You're like, man, is there a new Evo today? Or does a new Evo fit my Ollie Burke? Or does an Evo finally fit Arda Güler? Like when that happens, that's going to be sick, right? And people are going to want to know. That'll be a fun way to check and see if a card that you're using might fit into some evolutions. Now, it could be annoying too if you're going to have some of those cosmetic evos that show up. And if that's a way where, you know, EA put like the paid ones up there first for like a card that you don't want to do paid evos on. Hopefully for cards that fit a lot of evos, there's a good way to sort and to filter it. But all in all, that is a cool thing that it sounds like they're going to be adding with the new patch that is coming out soon. So that's kind of the news that we have. We don't have a ton of leaks right now. Looking around the Twitter sphere, just being 100% honest, I do believe there's going to be some leaks before today because I expect an Evo today on Tuesday. But before we get there, let's talk about the market for a bit. Yesterday, of course, we were talking at length about player prices, and these primetime cards, like I said yesterday, I was hoping to buy early today because I do believe that they will go up. And as I'm taking a look at these prices right now, a lot of them have dipped. Pavlovic over the day on Monday dropped a whole lot from 260K down to 215. Looked like he was going to have a bit of a rebound and then stayed pretty low and pretty down. That also happened to Anthony Gordon. He's down a bit. You've got Esteval, who is down a good bit as well. Militao is almost down to 800,000 coins again. Gakpo is below 300K. So I do think that these cards have potential to rise up today because Weekend League rewards and that supply is ending. So I think there's opportunities to buy here for a short-term flip. Nothing super crazy, but you got to see drops like we're looking at that Pavlovic or this Eder Militao, who was almost 900,000 coins earlier yesterday. Yeah, it was 909, and now he's 830. Like 800K flat for that would, I think, be his all-time low. 803 was his all-time low on Sunday. If he goes that low again, like that's a card a lot of people want to use. And I think after today, these cards can rise up a little bit. I'm not going to say they're going to go crazy, but people like these cards. There is demand for them. So I like that as a potential investment. And the market overall, in general yesterday, was doing okay. It was a good day to be flipping, buying if there was panic, and just fluctuation trading. Like I bought 3 Hoylunds for 52 to 53K, sold them for 62,000 coins. I was looking at cards like Mascherano. Guys, Scream cards, I'm going to say it, Scream cards actually might be good to trade with again. Most of the panic, not most, some of the panic has seemingly ended here. Mascherano was kind of dropping yesterday for some odd reason, but then he kind of rebounded back up. We saw some other Scream cards that had some good movements as well. And even like yesterday in total, look at Gold Frankie de Jong. Very popular gold card. Not as many gold cards did this, but this is a good sign. He went from 70K, 71, up to 75. So if he's back down, which he is already right now, if he goes below 70K and there's some good deals on some of your meta golds, out of pack specials, icons, heroes, especially if they're on a lower budget today, I would expect a decent bit of a rise into today on Tuesday because there's a lot of gameplay demand right now, especially if it's those cheaper cards that maybe people have to buy one or two to play in the Gauntlet. Now, let's look at Fodder, all right? Fodder, on the other hand, is cooked. And we've got 89 rated cards here like Russo, Vitinha, and Mariona that are the cheapest that they've been in a long time. This is kind of crazy to be completely honest. This is almost the cheapest that Fodder has been since we started getting some pretty substantial player SBCs, like not just player of the month Mbappe, but from the first couple of weeks of the game, this doesn't even count. 89 rated Russo going up to 20K because there were no 88 rated squads in here until like the early, actually probably the middle of October is when we finally saw some of those 88 rated squads for SBCs, that first player of the month Mbappe and stuff like that, right? So you obviously saw these cards at 28 to 29,000 coins like a week and a half ago. That was their peak price. If they are down here back to this 20K range, that's almost cheap enough. And the same thing with the 88s at 13,000, 91 or 81s. I'm not a 87s. Sorry, it was glitching out there. At 10K, I don't know if I love the 87s as much, but 88s and 89s at that price seems almost viable to me for like, you could put it in your club and wait for the next 2 weeks before Black Friday. If EA release any more big SBCs to try to drain our clubs, which they always do every year, before Black Friday drops, that could be something where we see Fodder have one more decent rise before then. And that might be a price. If you're like, Nate, I'm like screwed up right now in terms of the market, I don't want to do anything crazy, you could just get on some Fodder and hold it for the next couple of days, maybe the next week and a half, and hope that we do see a bit of a rise with some better SBCs. Because like we've talked about, right? The Icon and the Hero packs are the best SBCs we have right now. Player SBCs are not that sick. We do have a week 2 of this promo, and then something else is going to come after that, which we are not sure what it's going to look like. But if the SBCs improve and they get better, then hey, you know what? Even if there's a new Icon SBC or the first Hero player pick of the year, would not be surprised if we get something like that in like 2 weeks from now, right before Black Friday. I could see Fodder going up. So that's more of a long-term investment that I would say, but I felt like mentioning that today because I think the prices are low enough where you may not be getting the absolute low, but if you zoom out and look at the grand scheme of things, 88s were 20,000 coins, 19,000 coins. I think they can go up to at least 17K again. So if you buy at 14, selling at 17 would be pretty good. Now, informs. Today's going to be a good day to buy informs. 84 rateds, under 13K on bid, like 12.750. I bought one Zambo Anguissa yesterday for, actually, I think I bought it at 13,000 coins flat. And I got the lazy sale at 14.5 in just maybe 4 or 5 times of relisting that one card. So you can absolutely be listing the team of the weeks because, you know, there's SBCs out right now that are requiring those on the usual. Actually, do we have refreshing today on Tuesday, the campaign pack? Because I did a campaign mix. I can't see it. I know that this dropped last week on a Wednesday. Maybe it's going to refresh one last time. Maybe it's done for. But if that does refresh, that could make Team of the Weeks go up a little bit today. We're expecting another upgrade pack today as well. The 84 times 2, which last week was one of the worst upgrade packs that we've had so far this year. The 80 plus times 5 was clear of this 100%. We'll see what we get to replace this today, but I do expect us to get a new upgrade pack SBC there. When it comes to the content we're expecting today. Last thing that I want to mention, kind of going back to the market. Sorry, we kind of jumped around a bit there. I mentioned Scream cards are feeling a bit safer to trade with. Let me show you the graph of why I'm kind of saying that this is possible. Not every Scream card, but some of them. Dybala yesterday from 236 up to 253. That's a good enough swing for me on a card that is out of packs right now that people would like to use or still maybe would want to use. The worry I have with these is that the 99 stats go away tomorrow. But like, look at Frimpong, 174. He went all the way to 190. That's a card that's been holding his price pretty well since the crazy panic selling that we had and the huge market crash that we had in the last couple of days. So I just think add Scream cards back to your list of like, hey, maybe these are potential cards that we could trade with. And then these cards are a sell. If you bought a Dan Burn, if you bought an Osimhen, if you bought a Mickey Van de Ven, GG's, because these cards have exploded. But I don't think that these balloons, in terms of the cards going up this high in price, Osimhen from 400,000 coins, how much is he? Like 500K? Is he 600K? Oh my goodness. Please sell, man. Please sell these cards. I know that they're rare, but they just went out of packs, and I think most people are excited about them right now, and they know the supply is limited, so they're okay buying the cards. They think they're going to keep going up. I just can't imagine that that's going to last forever. Mickey Van de Ven for 1.1 mil. Yeah, that's just insane. They could go up a little bit further, but I would take the safe route and take the safe cash and sell those before new content comes out that just makes people forget about these and go towards something else. Now, speaking of content, and speaking of one of those cards from Ultimate Screen that I saw moving up on the market, take a look at this tweet right here. Donk yesterday tweeted official stats for all of the SBC and objective cards that we have not seen, or some of them we have seen already for this first week of the primetime promo. And there's two cards here that stand out to me. First of all, we've already had some of the good ones with Cambiaso, Simeone, and Pope, but this Marcus Leonardo looks pretty solid. This Davinson Sanchez looks insane. I can't zoom in too much further on this, unfortunately, but that card looks unbelievable. 84 pace, 85 defending, and 90 physical, and he's going to be a bit difficult to link. But what if we just had some Colombians through Ultimate Scream? And I'm wondering if Davinson Sanchez is going to be released today. Here's why. Look at the price of Cuadrado in the last couple of hours. He's been going up. Whether this is natural demand and just him being 99 pace, him being Cuadrado, and linking to Cabal, who's already a Scream card a lot of people like to use, or if it's investors with the leaks starting to say, hey, we're getting Davinson Sanchez, there's going to be a lot of hype for this SBC with a card of those stats. Go and buy the card. So I think if you're seeing Cuadrado for like 22 or 23K, I think that's a good price, because there is 100% a chance that this Davinson Sanchez comes out and this Cuadrado card goes up in a link to his card. Maybe the Cabal as well could move a bit. It's going to be easier, in my opinion, to get the Colombian links, because there's a lot of recent cards there that people want to use rather than the Galatasaray links. Like, I know this Osimhen is out, and Osimhen could link to Sanchez, but there's going to be less people paying 600K or 500K for Osimhen than there will be paying 20 to 30K for a Cuadrado. Also, watch out for like Super League manager consumables. Like, I'm literally going to just stock one on my club right now. They're 200 coins. The same thing could be said about Colombian managers. They're cheap as well. But that Davinson Sanchez looks crazy. And if he has either anticipate, intercept, jockey, block, slide tackle, not really slide tackle, but if he has good play styles and he's not that expensive, that card could be one that a lot of people go for as an SBC. So based on what I'm seeing there, I think that could be a card that drops today on Tuesday. Other than that, it's going to be another day of the gameplay grind. We already talked about the upgrade pack SBC. The last thing to mention is watch out for Evos, because I think Tuesdays are commonly an Evo day. Ice Veins expires today. And if we were to get an evolution, I would imagine it would be a free Evo. We also have the Ghostly Guardian center back Evo that's expiring today. So if we were to get one, I would imagine to be a free Evo. But watch out for any leaks that we may have ahead of time, according to FutAccountant or to Foot Police Leaks and those guys on Twitter that usually have that sort of information. So that's kind of what we're expecting today on Tuesday. Nothing super crazy, but could be a day to work the market a bit, make some coins, and maybe get a pretty fun player SBC with some Super League links. Davinson Sanchez, former Spurs card, I would be there for that. And if this Cuadrado keeps going up, then you're going to understand it probably is the Davinson Sanchez today on Tuesday. So we'll be watching out for that today. We'll be streaming live, of course. You guys know the drill. I'll be opening my weekend league rewards, which we're not finished with yet as recording this video. We turned it around, had a terrible start. 3-5, switched formations from the 4-1-2-1-2, which I've been using all year. Finally switched it, way overdue for a switch. And now we are 7-5. So fingers crossed we can win 2 of the last 3. If we get our first 9 wins of the year, if we could go crazy and get to 10, that'd be insane. But I am enjoying the new 4-1-4-1. And Nico Williams, man, he is freaking good. But it's not just Nico Williams what I like about this formation. I like the balance. I feel like I can actually have some like consistency in my defense. Rather, the 4-1-2-1-2, people were coming at it from all different angles because I was so narrow. It was fun on the counterattack. Everybody else was wide. I was narrow, but defending was just really, really hard. And I'm having a lot of fun with this formation, especially with Pulisic and Nico Williams, especially when I'm like just attacking, not trying to counter, like up near the box. When I pass it in with Pogba to like Benzema, it's almost like Pulisic and or Nico is almost like a second striker making a run in. Even with Nico on winger role and Pulisic on inside forward plus, they both make great runs there. So I don't know. I'll stop yapping about that, but we'll have rewards today to open on the live stream on Twitch and here on YouTube as well. But have a great Tuesday, guys. Watch out for the leaks. See if there's any surprise news there. But I will see you in the stream today. It's been TheFutAccountant there. Peace out.